Folks, if you are not following this young man on Instagram, you are missing some high quality education and something I am now calling an epic rant about Blackstone and them just making housing unaffordable. The one and only Taylor from Life Goal Investments. How you doing, sir?
Thanks so much for the intro. You're the man. I'm excited to be here every week.
Yeah, and you are on. You're actually in Florida on vacation with the family, but you still made time for us, so we appreciate you.
Absolutely. Wouldn't miss it for the world.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about who Steven Schwartzman is, who Blackstone is, and I just want to sit back and see if you could bring that fire again about that rant you had, and we'll try to find it and link it for folks. But it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's just a head scratcher because Blackstone is one of the largest residential real estate buyers in the US from an institutional standpoint. And it's funny, as we as Americans break our backs with these high mortgage rates to try to scrounge enough money, especially first-time home buyers, to get in that home and live the American dream. On the other side, people like Steve Schwartzman and Blackstone are actually rooting for higher mortgage rates. Why? Because higher mortgage rates, they sit on $187 billion in cash, looking to put it to work at that home down the street from you when it hits the market. And if mortgage rates are higher, you can't afford it, but they buy in cash. So mortgage rates don't matter to them whatsoever. In fact, higher mortgage rates just drops competition, allows them to come in and undercut the market. And what does it do? It keeps housing prices high.
Yeah. It's really interesting. I mean, something that, and this has changed since what, like 2009, 10, 11.
Yep.
For a long time, institutional investors really ignored single family homes. It was too
Correct.
diverse, too many markets, can't scale up, can't buy enough of it, right? Can't get scale. And, part of the Great Recession was they bought entire books of business.
Yep.
They were buying, 1,000, 10,000, whatever it was at a time. And they're like, oh, look, scale.
And there's this narrative in the market, and I don't know where it comes from, but what our overarching feedback was on that video is, yeah, but they actually own a de minimis amount of the outstanding properties in the US. So let me refute that right now, because 2021, 13.2% of residential homes were bought by institutional buyers. If you're going to tell me that 13.2% does not put a meaningful floor under housing prices, even when mortgage rates go higher, you're crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is one of the reasons we won't have a housing crash because, again, they've got stacks of cash and they're there, right? They'll come in for a discount, but it doesn't need to go down 50%.
And guess what happens in a recession? Bond rates come down. Yep. Yields on cash come down. What do investors look for? Yield. What does Blackstone provide? Yield. Because they are buying homes, renting them, and cash flowing back to their investors. So this appetite for yield-oriented products like they're able to bring to the market is not going away. So they're just going to continue to have boatloads of cash to spill out there and buy these houses at knockoff prices because, again, normal people have seen a doubling in their mortgage payment if they bought now versus if they bought 3 years ago. It's such a tough situation.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to kind of run out, because I get asked about institutional investors a lot. This is kind of the playbook I think they're running, but you're in the game. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So again, they have cash to burn. They go out and buy 1,000, 10,000, 15,000, whatever's homes cash.
Yep.
At some point, they're going to go and package those up into a bond or some other instrument. And they're going to go raise that capital back, most, if not all, if not a premium. And then that just becomes a payment stream for the next investor. So it's not like, yeah, it's a circle.
It's just a big feedback loop, right? They're going to put together these deals where they package them inside of a fund or whatever it may be. And then that fund can be directly invested in by outside investors. And so Blackstone's an interesting one. They've caught a lot of flack recently because what they did was they call it gating their fund. And this is, so I think this is a little bit overstated, right? Because people got real mad at them that they weren't able to redeem their investment. But I don't love Blackstone for all the obvious reasons that I've been ranting about thus far. But this is one I at least say, guys, the investors in this product bought into this product knowing they can only redeem 5% of the outstanding funds that are inside this fund per quarter. Why? Yep. Because when you're buying real estate, it's not liquid. So
Yeah,
you
it's a very
can't just
liquid.
buy in and buy out if your cash is needed by investors from withdrawals. And so it just doesn't work that way. So what it is it's only a partially liquid structure, which is what
Correct.
allows them to take the money and buy illiquid assets, which, as you know also well, real estate certainly is.
Yeah, absolutely. So at the end of the day, Blackstone is just one of many, if not the biggest. There are others, America Homes for Rent, and many others. They are there buying.
The
Go ahead.
biggest residential real estate buyer in the United States is actually a Canadian company.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
60 Minutes, and the name's escaping me, but 60 Minutes did an episode on this. And
Oh.
they exposed all of these things we're talking about. It was a while back now, but they exposed all of these things that we're talking about. And they said, listen, this is going to make housing unaffordable. We're at one of the lowest affordability rates in this country's history, a
Yes.
multi-decade from affordability standpoint, because housing prices are really high.
Yeah, it is a wild time. Affordability.
Rates have doubled.
Yeah, and affordability is terrible low. It's getting a little bit better as rates come down, wages go up. But yeah, it's a trifecta going on. So again, institutional buyers have a lot of capital. They are there to put a floor under the market, and they're not done.
No, they're not done. They are sitting on, again, at the end of last year. So maybe they've spent down some of this, but $187 billion was what was on Blackstone's balance sheet. And so the one thing I will say on this is, like, recessions are kind of like a double-edged sword when it comes to, and you know this also well, when it comes to real estate, because one, people obviously in recessions lose jobs. They don't get the raises that they may have been getting prior, so on and so forth. So their cash flow is lower. But the silver lining with a recession is that bond rates drop and mortgage rates also drop. So I'm hoping that we get a reset on some of these mortgage rates, especially for these first-time home buyers that just, again, it creates an unaffordable market.
So folks, if you want to go see this epic rant, it is on his Instagram page. You need to check it out. What is your Instagram page?
Instagram page is at Life Goal Investments. So you can check us out there, and on TikTok at Life Goal Investments, plural.
Yeah, investments plural. Add the S. He's got the blue check, so we're going to limit the copycats. So that's good. Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate you, Michael.